My name is Jean-Pierre and welcome to the Pain Free Podcast. 2025 was an incredible year. And I just want to say thank you. You showed up, you listened, you shared your stories, and you made this space what it is. 2026, we're even going further. So before I get into everything that this year has, we need to start here. Today's guest is a business administrator by profession, creative by nature, but a child of God by descent. As a business consultant, his goal is to bring improvement to people, processes, and profits. As an artist, he's a singer-songwriter who pours his heart and soul into creating uplifting contemporary Christian music. And I've had the privilege of knowing him for over 10 years. We've been through almost everything together, lived together, celebrated together, we've mourned, we've been there for each other in ways that only real friendship allows. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is JABULANI ZULU, also known as Gray Matson. I know it's been a long time coming, and I think you're one of the first people that actually knew that I was going to do this podcast. And if people do remember how I came up with the name for this podcast, it was definitely down to a conversation that we had. So I am going to start here. How would you describe our friendship to someone who's never met us?
Wow. Straight into the deep end, huh?
Straight into it. Welcome to the Pain Free Podcast.
Thank you. Super excited to be here, actually. How would I describe our friendship? We antagonistic is not the right word, but it's part of the words I would use because of our uniqueness to carry one another in different seasons. Kind of like how your tricep and your bicep work, to coordinate your hand. So I think we work like that. We're part of the same arm, but just have different functions at different times. So I think I would describe as, because even just how our lives have been laid out, you might be going through something, and later on I'm going through the same thing. So, we provide support and wisdom to each other. So antagonistic I think is a good word.
Okay. I'll take that. Way better than I would have described it. I like what you say. So am I the bicep? Okay, never mind. Anyway, so we've known each other for like 11 years now. Remember, we met in 2015. It was at Kitwelitu Theatre. You were in the back rehearsing for a show, and I heard you sing. And you were singing what is probably my favorite song by you. You were singing Alleviation. I'm gonna ask you to just, do you still remember the lyrics to that song?
I might.
But my favorite. All right. So what caught my attention was the part when you said, "I have a disease," and I was like, "Who's this guy reading my diary publicly?" I just want to know what led you to write that song, or maybe you can just go through that part that says, "I have a disease, it flows through my blood," and I just want to know what firstly what you were going through, secondly what made you write that song, because I think that's where everything just starts flowing for me. Meeting you in that moment, you not actually knowing what was going on with me when you were singing that song.
Yeah, man. First of all, 11 years is crazy. To see how that one moment has led us down such a great avenue of friendship is incredible. So, my personal experience with pain, right, was that when I was growing up, didn't know how to express myself. Because when I thought I knew how to express myself, I would be beaten up. So I learned how to write instead. So what I was doing at that time, I just channeled it into the song, right? So when I wrote, I have a disease, pills can't heal. It flows with
Mm.
my blood, it chills in my skin. A disease so dreadful, it apes my soul. Slowly I'm dying, slowly but sure.
Really, but sure.
Yeah. So it just
Yeah.
encapsulates, especially with my Christian background. I was trying to write something that captures how sin works, right? You can't draw it out of your blood, even if you wanted to. It's embedded in humanity, right? The frame of being a
Right.
human being, sin comes with it. So I was writing from that perspective, but also just trying to address the pain I was personally going through. So yeah, I wrote it like that, and over the years, people have had different experiences and different meanings for what that song signifies for them. So having to hear like different takes has been such a bliss. Yeah, I don't know if I captured everything in your question.
Yeah. You have, because I had no idea that was the source of that song. Because, like, when you go through the lyrics, from my point of view, it felt like you were talking about sickle cell. Or when I say the lyrics, it feels like I'm telling someone about my condition, right? And so that song has always stayed with me throughout the years. Like that moment you were in the back, even before I saw like your face and like, who's this guy singing? Before, because it was at the theater in the room, so I just stood outside for a bit, caught wind of all the lyrics, and then finally I came in. So yeah, 11 years is quite a long time. You've been there for most of the important moments in my life since then. But from the time we met, which is 2015 to like, I think 2020, for those first 5 years, you did know I had sickle cell. How does that feel to say out loud?
Wow. I think honestly, when I first heard it, I I had the most corny reaction. Like, how come? You look healthy. Some people say this, because it just didn't occur to me that someone I thought was so, strong and well put and all these different things, right, would have such a condition that they're dealing with every single day. So to be able to um, w- walk with that understanding afterwards was a bit difficult. But then I started to notice how the condition was affecting you, right? Because it's only after I became aware is when I actually started noticing, like, okay, when it's getting cold, he hibernates, and all these different things. He can't just do everything. He doesn't come out sometimes. So it then allowed me to see how your life has been structured, how you deal with pain, and also just gave me an insight into the kind of poetry you were doing. And at the time, you were doing poetry. I thought we're just like two bunch of sad dudes, just, yeah, just having a great time at being creative and all that. But then I started to see how your your pain was weaved into everything that you would write. Yeah, so it gave me a great insight afterwards into who you really
Right.
are and what you've been dealing with. Yeah.
Did you notice any change? So let me say the person or the friend you had between 2015 to 2020, 2021, and the friend you had after you found out up to now. Do you see a difference? Did anything change for you?
Not at all. I think if I can be honest, I think knowing your condition and then you allowing me to see you in like certain conditions when you have an attack or something like that, that's what made us brothers. I think before we were just friends. You know how they say that a brother is made for the day of adversary. So I feel
Right.
like adversity, brother. Yeah, I feel like that's when I got to stand and fight with you, and our bond just became far much better than, previously when I just thought, cool guy, Mr. Steal Your Girl and all that stuff. So
Oh wow.
then, because then that's when I started to see that this is what it deals with, and it just helped me have, like I said, a much deeper understanding into who you are and what you do and what makes you do what you do. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Speaking of, the hard times, there's a rumor, right? And please do confirm if this rumor is true or false. So there's a rumor somewhere that in your archives there's like a recording, and it's a recording of me telling you about the time I met Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, firstly, is this rumor true?
Is it?
If it's true, I have a follow-up question.
I neither accept nor deny.
Okay. Suppose this rumor was true of me having a conversation with you, telling you about the time I supposedly met Sir Alex Ferguson.
Right.
In that moment, something was happening. Can you walk me through that night and how that recording was made?
Ish, it was a very interesting experience, because I had never, okay, from like the Alex Ferguson side of things. I had he was the last person I expected you to meet. Talk about Mandela or somebody else. You know what I mean? Like,
I know,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was a very intense episode that you were having this particular night, and we practically did everything we could possibly do, right, to numb the pain and all of that. I think you were on so much medication that day, and I was half awake, half asleep, just trying to stay conscious so that if there's any need to call for extra help or any of that stuff, I would be at least in a state where I could attend to you, Yeah, so I'm half awake, half asleep, and I hear you saying, look at my hand. I'm like, what about it? And then you go like, and then you start having a conversation, man, with someone who was not in the room. So
Right.
yeah, it's afterwards I was like, what is going on? I thought, I should start rebuking and binding and getting some anointing oil and all that stuff, but later on I just learned, I think the pills had gotten to the point where I think you started hallucinating and stuff like that. So yeah, man, is it true? I'm not sure, only you could know, possibly, but
I don't even remember half that night.
Yeah, I think that's my take on that. So if you met him, you didn't meet him, hey, who knows?
Yeah. So just picking off what you said, I was having a crisis. I was on heavy meds. I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain, so I was hallucinating and saying all sorts of things. And that was like the first time you were around to see me go through like a serious crisis, because it lasted for like a couple of nights, like 2 nights. I was just like, especially in the night, I would get really sick. What was that experience like for you? I just have like bits and pieces like that I can recall.
So like you had mentioned earlier, after 5 years of knowing you, you told me about the condition that you had. So I knew it in theory, right? And would
Right.
hang out. You'd go home. I'd go home. So the reality of what a crisis looked like was like was vague, right? So day or those couple of days solidified what it actually looked like. So it moved from just being theory to the practical aspect of like this is what it looks like. I remember how quickly everything moved. We were on a phone call when I was getting to your house, um, right? And you just started texting me afterwards. All right, I was on the way to your house on a phone call. Then eventually you just started texting me. When I came to the door and I saw you in the condition, then everything just moved from like 0 to 100. Like this is how real it is. So I think the rest of my days were trying to um, put the pieces together. I was basically playing catch up with the reality.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I walk in and everything is just in my face. So from there, I'm now trying to navigate like, wow. So the theory of what he spoke about, this is the practical side of it, or the realistic side of it. So yeah, I remember not sleeping. I remember going to bed, but still trying to stay awake, even though I was really tired. Trying to stay awake so that if anything, I could dash and all of that. And I remember you calling my phone late at night, and I came out to just help. And I was so tired and pissed. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get some rest here. Yeah, because it had been a really, yeah, it was a couple of days. So even you're at a point when you're hungry, it tends to hunger at some point. You know what I mean? So I was so fatigued. Yeah, I became restless and whatnot. I was like, and I wasn't mad at you. I was mad at the condition. Right? I was so mad. I'm like, we're trying to get some sleep, y'all. Like, at least misbehave during the day, but at least you give us some time to sleep, so that this guy can, recover properly. And the pain just kept hitting. But it showed me how, man, your body could take so much, and it still does. During certain seasons, like you go through so much pain consistently, and after a certain season, again, you're just like 100%, and you're going and you're going and you're going. So it just, for me, I think it showed me like, man, people are so resilient. Like, life can be so intense in a couple of days or hours or minutes, but after that, there's a turnaround and everything just goes back to normal. So I think it also taught me that about who you are and how things happen. So yeah.
I remember there was, I think within that same period, in the morning you still had to go to work, and you would work checking on me, and I was like, bro, it's crazy, it's wild. And you're just like, ooh, I wish I could quit my job. And I was just like, quit playing, we laughed it off. I just wanted to understand what frame of mind you were in.
So like I said, I was tired because it had been a couple of days, I think 2 days, if not 3. So I think I went to work on the 3rd day. So I was tired, right? But I was also very empathetic, because I was thinking about what kind of help you would need, and me not being there, me not being around or able to come physically and help you within a split second, right? So that it just had me in a frame of mind of like, hey, I'm at work, but I'd rather be somewhere where I can actually be helpful, because the last thing you want to hear is like your friend was in need of you, and then you were not there, right? So I was in a state of like, I want to be there to offer a helping hand in any way. I'd rather be there and be helpful than be out here, just sitting behind a desk and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what was on my mind. And it was not easy. I can only imagine for uh, your parents and people who are even outside of town. Because I remember that time, mom and dad were not close by. So what they were thinking or how they were feeling, right, knowing that you're going through a crisis. So it also just broadened me up to the people that I've lived with you um, over the years, and how they process things. So I think it made me like start to dig, like, okay, but how does mom deal with this? How does dad? And I think I asked you a couple of questions, and you're like, "Ah, dad just ignores it."
Yeah,
Mom,
that.
yeah, dad's amazing. Yeah, a mom will do everything possible, and then you have your sister, you have your brothers. Your brothers are always, uh, trying to look for meds or whatever. They are the runners. So I was just thinking
Right.
about like what makes people around you or your family react the way that they do, especially if they're not in a position to actually help you like that, because it's
Right.
not like they can physically take away the pain. They can just do something to alleviate. So yeah, that's how I was thinking and feeling that particular day.
I see. In that moment, were you like maybe worried about the worst? Do you ever worry about me or the worst that could happen because of my condition?
Uh, Partly, right, because of how intense the previous day was. Because in my head, right, day one was quite intense. Day two became more intense when I was expecting it like to be chill, go down, yeah, we'll have a laugh and whatnot. Because in my head, a crisis is just supposed to last for a day or at least hours, but then it lasted
Right.
3 days, So yeah, I was like, why does it keep intensifying? And the worst thing would be I'm not around when when the pain is just unbearable. So yeah, I don't know if you remember, but I would ask you like on a scale of like 1 to 10, where are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was like a measure of how intense is it today. So if it moved, and I asked you like, okay, so what's the most bearable, or what's the furthest you've ever gone, like on that scale?
What did I say?
Do you remember? I'll explain it to you.
Nah. What did I say? I said I probably said a 9. I don't know. I can't remember. I
Uh,
really
8.5. 8.5.
8.5.
9 is
Okay.
pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I said, so what would you say is the hardest part about being friends with someone with a chronic illness?
That you can't take it away, you know?
Right.
Um, yeah, I think it's a sentiment that can be shared with most people. Because there are things that I feel like we cannot do uh, because of the condition. Or there are times like I want to hang out, just want to chill, want to do whatever, but we can't do that because you're having a crisis. So I'm just like, this thing, how can I take it away? What can I do? Which bank can I rob? Uh, who's the bad
I
guy?
have a suggestion. Um, I'll let you know privately. Uh-huh.
Please. Yeah, so you just wanna do everything you can to allow or give an opportunity to your friend to live a normal life, well, to whatever extent normal is, right? Yeah, so that they can
Right.
just freely enjoy, do whatever they would want to do, So yeah, like, take it away is my answer.
Just based off of the fact that you really can't take this pain away, does it make you feel like you can't fully understand what I go through? Has it ever created distance between us, even though we are so close at the same time?
Does it affect me, affect the way I see you? Creating distance? Absolutely not. I think friendship, true friendship, really is sitting down with people, walking through whatever they're walking through with them. And I think that's what our friendship has allowed for us to be, like people who walk alongside each other. And so it actually makes me appreciate you more than creating the distance. I understand when you don't need to come out. I understand. Um, I understand when, you know, we can't do certain things, we can't go certain places. I definitely understand, but I also treasure the time that we spend together, right? Because I know that we won't possibly have all the luxury of just doing everything and anything at any time. So whatever time we spend together, man, is precious for me. Yeah, conversations we have, the stuff we do, the places we go. When we're doing those things, that it's the greatest time of my life. Yeah, being spent with you. So that's what I would say. It's actually made me more conscious of, the role that you play, um, who you are as a person, and the value that you bring. Not just to me, but to several other people. So yeah.
Appreciate that. I'm gonna flip the script right now. I want you to ask me any question you've ever wanted to ask, or maybe you felt you couldn't ask, which I know is very rare because we have quite a transparent friendship. But in case there was a question that you ever wanted to ask me, what would it be?
That's a very hard thing to ask. Wow. I think it's probably a question that I've already asked you before. So JP, it's ironic that your podcast is obviously named I Am Pain Free, right? And for people who've been following the episodes, they kind of understand who you are because they've been following, right? But for someone who's just fresh out of nowhere and they stumble upon the name I Am Pain Free, what's the quickest way you can explain to them what that means for you? So random stranger you meet in a store or something, and then you say, I have a podcast that's named Pain Free. What's the best way that you can explain that to them? Break it down in a way that they can understand.
I shouldn't have asked you to ask me a question, really, because okay, best way to explain that would be, I think, just in the name I Am Pain Free, it kinda, I don't know, it makes you think why someone would obviously have such a name, but also in life it's almost inevitable to experience pain. And for someone like me who has experienced pain almost all my life, it kind of seems like I'm trying to be something that I'm not, but at the same time I'm trying to say that if I can use sickle cell in itself, I'm trying to say that I have sickle cell, but sickle cell doesn't have me. Like, I experience pain, but pain is not some sort of load over me. That's the whole I think that's the whole gimmick, or that's the whole punchline or metaphor behind I Am Pain Free, especially for someone like me who experiences pain on a regular basis. Is the awareness that though I might be going through pain, I am free from allowing myself to be maybe grumpy, or to be less happy, to be, some people go through the most and it shows in their character, it shows maybe on their face, it shows through certain aspects of their lives. But for me, I am pain free is a conscious decision to say that I am free from the impact of pain on my life, and I choose to sort of live the way that I want. Kind of like how you said you couldn't tell how I had such a disease because I lived like, I was as healthy as any normal person. So that's the whole concept of, I think, transcending the difficult situations around us. You know how you always ask me, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. But the circumstances around me may not necessarily be good in that moment. But me as a person, I am great. So I think that's how I'll try to explain it to them, as far as I am pain free is, without saying too much. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did. But it also opened up a can of worms. Now I want to ask my second question.
Shoot.
Welcome to my podcast. Yeah, so after all these years of
Right.
experiencing pain, there's something you talked about that in your previous episodes, right? Where you attach meaning to things that happen to you, right?
Right.
So I'm sure at each stage of your life, pain has meant something different. When you were much
For sure.
younger, it meant something was wrong with you. When you were much older, with a different understanding, it meant different things. It meant you couldn't do certain things. You can't just be, you know, uh, everywhere, anytime, right? But what is the pain you experience now? Bearing in mind that there's sometimes when you go through episodes or rather a crisis, right? What does this stage of life and the pain that you go through with regards to sickle cell, what's the meaning attached to that?
Right now, my pain is a reminder that I need to do more of the things that I feel I've been called to do. It's more of like, it gives me this urgency to have conversations like this with you. It gives me the urgency to make sure I chase my purpose to the fullest. It's more of a reminder that, hey, time is ticking and you have things you have to do. So get to it. There were years and years where I couldn't even say anything. I'd be in public, inside me, I'm going through the most. My body is breaking down, but I wouldn't say a word. I remember there was a time, boys being boys, I was with friends. I think that was high school. We ended up playing rugby, and genius me ended up playing rugby with the boys, and rugby. And when I got home, like, I was so broken because physically that was really hard. Imagine agreeing to play a game of rugby with a body like mine, just not being in a place where I could actually share, like, guys, I can't be anywhere near a rugby field. But now when I experience pain, it's more like, yeah, I really need to speak more. I really need to check in more. I really need to, that there are things that I want to do now that I kind of have the urgency to do them. So right now, pain is more like a reminder, like, okay, you're on the path that you were not a few years ago, and there are certain things that you need to do, and you better get back to it. So yeah, I feel like that's the meaning that sort of brings to me nowadays in this space.
So good. So my last question is, I've heard you speak about your experiences in hospital and how that sometimes when your body is shutting down, it's almost like your spirit becomes more alert and more aware. So not to dive more into the experiences, the different experiences you've had, but rather to, what I would like to know is, how has that, right, your encounters with different beings and all that. How has that affected your spirituality and your Christianity?
That is probably the most brilliant question I've ever heard, because obviously you are one of the few who actually has experienced what I go through, and actually explained some of the things that happens when my body kind of shuts down. I think that as the encounters and the experiences I've had when my body is shutting down or has shut down. In the beginning, it was scary, extremely scary, because I didn't understand what that was, you know? So there are moments where, for example, when I'm having a crisis and I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain, so I'm hallucinating, and then when everything is back to normal, I don't remember those moments. But there are also moments where my body is really in like excruciating pain, where my spirit is like so active, and I get to experience certain encounters, and I always remember those. So that has helped me have a deeper relationship with God, because I now understand the reason for pain sometimes. I understand that new life sort of has to come into being through pain. Like, there's pain during childbirth. There is pain when you're transitioning from maybe one stage of life to another. And certain revelations that you can only get in the midst of pain, for me, it's when my body is pushed to the extremes. And for some weird reason, when I'm transitioning from one season into another, that's when I have the craziest crisis, because somehow the answers to what I've been praying for, what I've been searching for, manifests most when my body is out of the way and I'm able to receive. But I did not always understand that. And I was troubled for the most part, because I would have these experiences when I'm sick, and then try to have conversations with people, and they'll be, they'll react a little different, But now I understand that for a certain season or for a certain phase to arrive, you have to be ushered into that new phase through a series of pain. And that has helped me keep going, because the greater the pain, the more I'm able to receive as well. If it's answers to prayers, if it's open doors, if it's whatever it is in that season that I'm really struggling with, through those experiences, somehow pain always ushers in a new season in my life. And I've come to understand that with time and with growth. And so now I cherish those moments. I am able to document things. I am able to find purpose in those painful moments. So I think that's been the best. I think that's the best way of saying it or putting it. I think pain always precedes purpose, or the ushering of a new season where you walk in purpose. And I've seen that firsthand through the moments that I've experienced the worst kinds of pain.
Wow, brilliantly said. I have another question. You've talked about pain and prayer, and I know we're both Bible lovers, so when you say that two among so many other people who went through pain and prayed came to mind, obviously Jabez is a well-known one, but another one that came to mind is Jesus. So Jesus is going through pain at the cross, and his prayer is, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. What kind of prayers do you pray during a crisis?
I've prayed all sorts of prayers. I've prayed horrible prayers. I've prayed one of those curse God and die prayers, but I've also prayed for for just the strength to get through it, you know. I've prayed prayers of thanksgiving and gratitude. Sometimes I haven't prayed it. I don't pray at all. I just ride the wave. I've had kind of like, you know, when you're reading Psalms or, you know, David, at one moment he's, you know, all happy and praising God, and then the next morning or the next chapter, the next verse is, you know, he's troubled. I think that has really been evident in the prayers that I pray when I'm in pain. What I would say is, it's not so much what you pray in such moments of pain, but as long as you pray. I think because of you know, you've seen the extreme levels of pain I've experienced physically. You can utter things that you did not mean. Just like when you're arguing with someone, especially someone you love, and because you are hurt emotionally, you can say things that you later are not proud of. But with human beings, that can cost you a relationship or a friendship because you've hurt their feelings, and there are consequences to that. What I've learned through the prayers I've prayed when I'm in pain is that God doesn't have the ego that we have. You know what I mean? Like, I've said some horrible things in my prayers to him when I'm in pain in order to get rid of the pain, right? But it still doesn't change the fact that he's a good God. It still doesn't change the fact that he's a merciful God. It still doesn't change the fact that he's a healer, even though I haven't experienced the healing that to the degree that I want, right? So I've prayed all sorts of prayers, obviously depending on how intense the pain is. But I think the most important thing I've learned is to pray still. And I've learned that God God will still be God regardless of the prayers that I pray. Be it thanksgiving, be it things or prayers I cannot repeat ever again, be it worship, be it whatever it is that leaves my lips in those moments, it still does not take away from who God is. And that really helps me still run back to him. You know what I mean? I can say horrible things to you, and my ego or my pride in a way may stop me from apologizing to you later. You may not see me ever again in the same light. You'll be like, bro, how do you expect me to still be friends with you after saying all these things? But I've never experienced that from God. And that, I was having a conversation with May, and she was like, who are you at your worst? Right? And I was like, I don't think I can. I did tell her what I think I am at my worst, right? But I was kind of like, would you still see me the same? Like, we all have a limit to what we portray to people because we are afraid of what they might do when they see us in our darkest moments. But I've been in my darkest moments, and I've said what I've had to say to a mighty, mighty God. And for him, he's still like, you know, the same yesterday, today, and forever. So I feel like if you're experiencing some crazy level of pain, I'm not going to tell you what to pray about, what to say, how to sound diplomatic or whatever. But I'll say whatever it is that you want to say, you can say to him. And trust me, he'll be the same in that moment. And he'll be the same when you're happy. He'll be the same when you're on your best behavior. He'll be the same forever.
Wow. Brilliantly said. Yeah,
I like your
and
podcast.
you should go again. You should go hear
I
it.
will. I will definitely. In all of this, what would you say our friendship has taught you or taught us? You can speak for the both of us as well.
The lesson that I've learned from all of this,
Yeah.
mm, the how precious people are. Yeah, what makes them who they are. Uh, because without the background check, right? Most people on face value would just assume things about you, about me, about some random stranger they meet, But once you do a background check, walk through the footprints. I'm gonna use something related to a poem you did. You walk through the footprints of someone else, or you appreciate them a whole lot more because they're grace to carry what they're carrying, but that doesn't mean it's easy to carry in the first place. That's why they've got grace for it. So I think it's allowed me to just appreciate how precious people are. You may not know the full story. You may not even have the privilege to live a day in their lives, but everyone is carrying something. Like you said a couple of episodes ago, our bodies are record keepers, right? So the intensity that your body has been able to, succumb to, or overcome and not succumb to all these years is incredible. I think if other people were to bear the same pain for just a year, it would do something for them that I don't know. But yeah, just being able to understand that people go through different things, people carry different burdens, people live life in different ways has made me appreciate how precious people are. So that's, I think, one of my biggest lessons from our friendship and dealing with pain. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I like what you said about, everyone is carrying some sort of pain, and I'm gonna use that against you in saying, is there a pain you're experiencing that I may not know of that you wish I did?
That you wish?
That maybe you wish I knew of? Maybe is there something that you're not telling me? Kind of like the way I didn't tell you for the first 5 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting enough, we bounce a lot of things off of each other, right? So you at every stage, you walk in accountability with me. So at almost every stage, what's happening, or have an idea at least of what's happening. But I would say my childhood pains, right, that have turned into traumatic reactions or responses are things that now I'm actively dealing with. Like, I'll give you this example. It's funny, but yeah, it's real. So when I was growing up, I grew up in a family of four brothers, really, because I'm the fifth one. And they liked soccer. They liked soccer so much. They'll play just in the backyard. And this one day I tried to play with them, right? And they kept telling me, don't play. But I really wanted to play. So I got into the field, and then someone slammed the soccer ball so hard into my stomach And from that moment onwards, I said, I'm never going to play soccer again. Right? That's why I don't
Really?
watch soccer. Yes. I could have been a
Makes
Ronaldinho
sense.
or something, man.
Yeah, okay, sure. But I never knew why you were not a
Hey,
soccer fan. I never, yeah. I noticed,
yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
yeah. I noticed you're not really into soccer,
Yeah.
but I never knew why.
Yeah, so I don't watch soccer. I don't play soccer. I'm always dissing people about random teams. I'll walk up to someone who supports Arsenal, in this case, cough cough. And I'll just I'll say the most basic thing. I'll say, "Oh, I'll pray for you guys." Oh my God, just assuming that they're somewhere on the table or they've lost some games and stuff like that. But I'm not really a soccer fan, and I didn't know how much this pain has been weaved into everything that I do, um, until some time back when I was praying and I asked the Holy Spirit to reveal, things that are painful and have created a traumatic response in my life. And that was one of the things that came up. So he was basically telling me, you don't compete, you don't push yourself to do things like that, because the one time you tried, you got slammed in the stomach and you quit. So you made an inner vow to say, I'm never doing that again. So there are pains like that from my past. I think that I'll use the same phrase you use, have been recorded into my body, right? And now they're affecting my responses and my experience of life, because there's some things I just won't experience because of the pain that happened in the past. So yeah, it's those kind of things.
What would you say to people in a similar situation, people dealing with past pain that resurfaces in adulthood in so many different ways based on your own experience?
Great question. Because of how long the pain has been in your body, it operates through your neural system. I've actually been reading and studying about this stuff. So you have to rewire your brain to have a different response. So a child's brain is much easier to rewire. That's why kids are able to learn languages and stuff like that, because their neural system is still forming, or there's still neural pathways that they can utilize to learn something new. But for people who are much older, you already have formed neural pathways, and the best thing you can do is rewire them by rewriting basically the programming that you have, right? And so for this year 2026, I'm actually doing 12 sets of 21 days challenges. I'm calling it Rehab 21st. It's just I'm using 21 days to counter something that I know is giving a response that I don't want, right? So I would advise people to go on a 21-day, challenge of whatever sort they're trying to, whatever they're trying to reconfigure themselves to, whether it's success in terms of resources, money, whatever, whether it's traumatic response that they have when it comes to relationships and all of that, and just go back and to that moment, and then when you replay that, actually use a different affirmation or use scripture, meditate on it, and give yourself a fresh rewiring of what that episode meant. Or for example, like what I talked about the soccer game, I just said, hey, it was that one time. What else can you possibly do? There's so many sports you could try. It was that one time, and you cannot create a whole narrative out of that one experience. So try again, go in again, with a different expectation this time. And even if it happens, it's part of the game. So fall in love again, invest again, Because if a child quits on walking just because they try to stand up and fail, then they'll crawl their whole life. So why not overcome that by trying again? You just never know where you end up. You never know what comes out. So yeah.
Seeing my own experience with pain and seeing your own experience with pain, has that changed how you handle pain currently and moving forward?
Absolutely. Is pain inevitable? Absolutely. Because we're in a fallen world, and how does me seeing your experience and my own experiences change how I see pain? It repurposes it. It gives it a different meaning, right? So some people talk about how pain creates power, or pressure creates power, and purpose comes from pain. It really has made me see that for both of our lives, especially with how purposeful our time is now. Because I'm like, there are times when he's down, and we can't have this conversation. So it adds so much meaning to the time that we have because of the pain that you go through sometimes, and we can't just have a regular conversation. It's either centered around the pain that you're experiencing at that time, or you're just not in a position to be laughing about, this and that, right? But it also, like I said, makes me appreciate people, because then I'm like, wow, the amount of grace that you have to carry what you carry, the pain that you're carrying, the pain that you've overcome, it makes me so appreciative of people and who they are, and the stories they have to tell, the scars they have to show. So yeah, and then it gives me hope personally for what I can overcome, because I'm like, if JP has pain consistently in his body for a whole either 5 days or a week, right? What's my excuse not to take a jog around the block? What's my excuse, really? So I'm thinking of what privileges I have compared to no excuses, really. Because if you had the same opportunity to jog around the block without the pain that you're experiencing, I don't know if I'm making sense, but if you had the opportunity to be in full health, there's so much that you could do, right? So why don't I take that, do the much that I need to do without having to complain about, oh man, my foot is sore, when someone's entire body is in pain. So yeah, I like to think of, like, I don't have any excuse not to do great stuff, or just be more productive. If JP can do it, I should be able to do it as well.
Oh, I'm out here inspiring people. All right. Sorry, I couldn't resist. What do you wish other people understood about navigating friendships with someone with a chronic illness?
What I wish people knew about navigating. So this is what I wish people knew, right? Or some sort of advice or anything like that, right? Because the tools for navigation are different based on the condition that your friend has, right? So some people, it'll be different from person to person, right? But there are also universal things that you want to take note of and really utilize, like I keep saying, time is so precious. The time that you spend with that person is precious, either on their highs or their lows. It's very precious. And also not treating them like their condition is something that I feel people should be able to to have in mind as they deal with friends or help friends navigate a chronic illness or condition, right? Because if you place the label of the condition that they have on them, you are putting them in a box that limits your experiences with them, right? For example, there are people who have so someone with dyslexia, right? And then you put a cap on their potential and simply say, hey, they can't read and whatever, but it just means they learn differently. And now, because they learn differently, you have an opportunity to go on different learning adventures with that person. So I feel like when people attach or rather label their friend by their condition, it just limits what adventures they could go on. So that's what I would say. Time is precious. Whatever time you spend, whether it's on a mountaintop, valley low, hey, the time spent with that person is precious. And secondly, not labeling that person as the condition, because that puts a cap on the experiences that you can have with them. Yeah.
Brilliant. If you could go back to the first year of our friendship, we go back as far as uni, knowing everything you know now, would you want to know from the beginning? Or was the friendship better because there was a time that you didn't know anything?
Okay. That's a really good question. And the answer is, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I think either I knew from the very beginning, or even if you told me yesterday, it just meant, because you have to choose when you tell people and stuff about yourself. All right. So I think it wouldn't have changed as much of who you are to me, because I would have understood that, hey, this is something that you've been dealing with and you have the liberty to share when you feel like sharing. So yeah, not at all. I think it would have been okay to learn about it any time.
Right. And how does it feel having this conversation right now with everything that has happened and answering these questions? What's this like for you?
It's such a it's a bliss to still have the opportunity to even talk about these things now, after everything that I've seen you go through. I've seen you experience, I've been there firsthand, and still be here in 2026 to be able to, man, it's such a bliss. It's such a great opportunity, even for other people to learn about what you've gone through, through the eyes of someone else. So yeah, I actually count it a privilege.
Any last final thoughts?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me be part of this incredible podcast. I really believe that it's going to touch millions and millions of lives, and just to have the opportunity to be here and just share, our experiences together. Man, what a blast. Yeah, but finally, for anyone who has been experiencing pain, maybe not currently, but is dealing with residual pain, I think I would say go on the journey. go back to the moment. Ask the Holy Spirit really to take you back to the moment where these things happened, so that you are not living, or rather cheating on your future with your past, right? Do not let anything that happened in your past prevent you from experiencing the future that you're supposed to have. And if you are, spiritual like that, there's something I like to do, which is pray over my mind. Just pray that God heals your memory. The things in your memory that could be hindering what He wants to do now. So just pray for your memory, and also pray for your imagination. Your memory deals with your past, your imagination deals with your future. So for you to fully experience, the future, you need to have some sort of a clean slate. So I would encourage you to pray that. And if you want to join me on the 21-day, rehab, renewal of the mind, feel free. Drop something in the comment section. Can they do that? Can they drop something in the comment section?
Yep. They can.
We'll let them know where they.
Yep, definitely. We'll do that. Just drop something in the comment section. But I'll also, is it like a page or where you're gonna be sharing daily? Is it the WhatsApp group? Is it the Telegram link?
It's a WhatsApp channel actually.
All right, so I'll share the link. They can just join in. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So join us on that 21-day mind renewal. It's not weird. It's not like new agey stuff. We're actually using the Bible. It's biblical. That if you take a good amount of time, your mind can be renewed, and you'll find this in Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2 as well. So just believe that God wants to do some new things, but because you are unable to forget the old things, that's preventing you from doing new stuff. So hey, if you're excited about the future like that, let JP and myself know, and hopefully we can give you some tools to do that. Yeah.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, I was about to say, ladies and gentlemen, Gray Madsen. I'm so used to it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was the one, the only Jabulani Great Zulu. Thank you so much for this conversation, man. Like, I don't even know how to put it in words, but thank you for the gift of conversation. Not just today, but like throughout the years, you only know the conversations we've had. So for this one as well, the ones we've had in the past and the ones we're gonna have in the future. Appreciate you, my G.
Appreciate you too, my G.
Gang.